Yes, thank you very much. First, I want to say thank you to Jafet, Emmanuel, and Ndesa for organizing all this here and for inviting me here to come to Zambia. I have to correct something here. The Bitcoin for Fairness Foundation, we did not donate something to the Feminist Coalition in Nigeria. I did an interview with them, and but they used the BTC Pay server to empower themselves to get donations from all over the world, because before, with the traditional banking system, their bank accounts were closed by the government due to the protests that they helped to organize, and so they were able to receive money from all over the world with Bitcoin, and that's an example of how it can help in these cases. And my goal is, so first I wrote a book about Bitcoin, which is a beginner book, and it tells you everything about what you need to know to earn and start using Bitcoin. But as you can't buy this here, I'm sorry, I will talk about this in the talk and bring you the best or the comprehension of it in these next minutes. So first, I want to thank these organizations because they brought me here, because they enabled it through their funds to pay for my hotel and, you know, all the things I need. And so thank you to them. And now, what are we going to do now in these minutes? So the first question, what is Bitcoin? What can I do with Bitcoin? How do I get Bitcoin? How can I earn it? Where can I spend it? And then, what is self-custody? Which wallets shall I use? How do I secure my private keys so that I don't lose them, and things like that? So, Dominic already explained Bitcoin to you. I'm going to repeat some things, but I think it doesn't hurt to repeat it. And so maybe you get it more clear then. So for me, Bitcoin is not an investment in the first place. It's not a tool for speculation. That's something for many people. For me, it's the people's money. So it's money that enables us, that empowers individuals to send money directly from peer to peer. If you hold your own keys, the private keys to the coins, then nobody can take it away from you. It's uncensorable and permissionless. You don't need an ID to use Bitcoin, and there's also no company behind, because I think this is one of the misconceptions, that people think that there's a company behind. Like all those mobile money systems, there are centralized companies behind. And as I know from Zimbabwe, the government often interferes and tells Econet to shut down accounts and things like that. And that can't happen with Bitcoin. So it all began at the end of 2008 when someone with the name of Satoshi Nakamoto presented the Bitcoin white paper. They called it a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And in this white paper, the basic foundations of the Bitcoin blockchain are written down. And it's a very good tool if you're an informatics student or something like that, and you're interested in these foundations, read the white paper. On January 3rd, 2009, the first public block of the Bitcoin blockchain was mined. So that's the start, that's the birth of Bitcoin. And the most important thing with Bitcoin is it gives us trust without banks. We don't need an intermediary anymore to send money online. We needed that banks before, because think of a PDF, for instance. You can copy a PDF a million times, and you can. So you can't say like one PDF is worth that much, because you can copy it so often. And that was the problem all those developers and software developers had in the years before Bitcoin was invented, to make a digital coin or digital money unique, so that you can't forge it and you can't make more of it. And that's what Satoshi Nakamoto was able to do, adding the concept of a blockchain to the concepts of cryptography, mathematics, and all those rules that or systems we already had. So that was the foundation to use internet money without banks. And you can see the idea that Satoshi Nakamoto had, a little bit of the philosophy behind this peer-to-peer money in the first Bitcoin block, the so-called Genesis block. And Satoshi Nakamoto wrote down the headline of the Times of that day, Chancellor on brink of second bailout of banks. That was the time of the big financial crisis in which the banks brought us, the traditional financial corrupt system brought us into these problems. And so I think that it was Satoshi Nakamoto's idea to have an alternative without banks. So for me, I think you get why Bitcoin is special if you think about its properties, because these are unique. So with this set of properties, if you compare it to other cryptocurrencies, and there are thousands of them, then you can evaluate why you think one or the other cryptocurrency is better suited for you. So, as I said before, Bitcoin is permissionless. If you don't have an ID, like I think 4 billion people or 2 billion people or something like that don't have IDs. So they are excluded from the financial system. They can't get a bank account. They are too poor for getting a bank account. They cannot get a loan. They cannot save money. With Bitcoin, you can do that. It's transparent, meaning if you use Bitcoin, you don't need to register anywhere. You don't need to verify an email or your address where you live or something like that. It's pseudonymous. But on the other hand, the blockchain is transparent, which makes it a great tool to look up where funds are going, like to counter corruption, for instance. It's non-inflatable. As Dominic said before, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. And that's a big difference to the traditional banking system or monetary system with the US dollars or the kwacha or whatever currency we have on this planet. They are all inflating. They are losing value year by year. I read that up. In Zambia, I think inflation was 23% in 2020. In Zimbabwe, it was 500%. I mean, imagine how much the value of the money, I mean, it's basically garbage, you know. So everyone in Zimbabwe wants US dollars, of course. And because it's a hard money compared to their own currencies. So that can't happen with Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million. So the value of one Bitcoin can't go down just because there are more of it. It's based on consensus. This means that all participants of the Bitcoin network, and these are also we, the people who use non-custodial wallets, we are part of the consensus in the Bitcoin protocol or the software. It can't be changed if we don't want to. So this means no political party, no leader, nobody with much money can change the rules of Bitcoin by him or herself. It's neutral. Bitcoin doesn't care if you are of this religious group or have this political interest. It's neutral. It's there for everyone. It doesn't say your transaction, I don't like it, so I quit. I give it away. I don't take it. Yeah. So it's neutral. It's for everyone. It's borderless. So as far as I have learned, in many African countries, the problem is that people can't even send money to other African countries, or it's very, very expensive. With Bitcoin, you don't have that problem. It's borderless. It's done in 10 minutes, in an hour, maybe overnight. With the new Lightning Network, it's done in a minute. So that's a big advantage. It's decentralized. As Dominic said before, it means that you don't have a central honeypot. So a hacker, if they want to attack the Bitcoin network and steal the money, they can't, because the database, the blockchain, the list of all transactions is copied on 100,000 computers worldwide. Not only by companies, also I have a Bitcoin full node and a Lightning node at home. So on this little computer, I also have the Bitcoin blockchain, and my software is validating if transactions are correct or not. So I'm my own bank, and you can become your own bank too. And it's censorship resistant, which is especially important for people in countries with authoritarian governments where you don't have the full set of human rights like free speech and other things like that. As I mentioned before, as an example, I had the Nigerian Feminist Coalition, which then were using Bitcoin to fund their campaign to protest against police brutality. And there are a lot other examples like that. So Bitcoin cannot be seized. It cannot be taken away from you. It can't be manipulated. It cannot be inflated, and it belongs to the holder of the private keys. It's basically like cash, like banknotes in your pocket, but digital. And you don't need banks. It's open. I think it's something like community money. There is no leader and no company behind it. So what can you basically do with Bitcoin? As I said before, you can hedge against inflation. That's a complicated word for saving money and not losing value. I always say, please think long term. If you're able to save something, and if it's even just $1 a month, with the Lightning Network, you can now save that. I understand that people in these countries don't have so much money to save. You need to spend it for your daily goods. But if you can start saving a little bit. You can use it for remittances. As I said before, it's borderless. You can do cross-border transactions as a company for importing or exporting goods. Or you can start a circular Bitcoin economy. There are examples like Bitcoin Ekasi in Mossel Bay, for instance, is a local community in South Africa trying to empower people in a township to use Lightning Bitcoin with each other. They want to do the same what they have accomplished at Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador. It's a small community where people started to use Bitcoin. They earning Bitcoin from the tourists that are coming there and using it and are also able to exchange it to US dollars, which they of course also need there. So how can you get Bitcoin or Lightning? And I will explain later what Lightning is. So you can earn it. You can do online work. You can offer education and say to people, hey, come on, do you want to pay me in Lightning or in Bitcoin? You can sell stuff for Bitcoin. You can play games. I also have examples for games. And you can set up your own BTC Pay server for e-commerce or to get donations. You can, of course, buy it. So if you have the money and want to buy it, you can go to a centralized exchange like OKCoin, for instance, or to a peer-to-peer exchange, which is an online exchange, but you exchange with people and not with the company. That's paxful.com or localbitcoins.com. And a very easy method, you can now buy vouchers with cash, Bitcoin vouchers, by a company called Azteco, and they have stores, like sellers in many, many stores all over Africa and the world already, where you can buy Bitcoin for cash, send the voucher code to someone in another country, like your family, and this person then can redeem the Bitcoin into his or her own wallet over the website. So that's a very easy possibility to get to get Bitcoin. Or you exchange it with a friend or a money dealer. In Europe, we also have a lot of Bitcoin meetups where we meet with our peers, and there you can try out to install a wallet, and the people help you, send you your first fraction of a Bitcoin. So now the question is, where can I spend a Bitcoin? So my answer is, think about if you really want to spend it, because as Dominic also said before, we can see over the long term there's a huge increase in the value of one Bitcoin. When I came here 2 years ago, I was in Zimbabwe also talking about Bitcoin. I told them one Bitcoin is $9,800 US now. And you can see where we are now. It's $42,000 US. Of course, it has a high volatility, which you also can see. We were last year around 60,000 US dollars already. So that's the reason why I say if you want to save it, you have to think long term. And there's another chart. It's the same chart, just in a logarithmic scale, and it shows you the development of the Bitcoin price. I can't make promises, I won't make promises, I don't want to sell you anything, but I believe it could go up more and more because more and more people come to realize that Bitcoin is a unique asset. It's a unique tool, and the more people who are using it, the more the value will rise. So it's in a way a self-fulfilling thing here. We have 21 million Bitcoin, there will never be more. And Dominic said that before, I won't say more about it. That means it's scarce. 1 Bitcoin is something special. If it's only 21 million, many people then ask me, yeah, but if it's only 21 million, how can everyone have it or use it? There are much more, there are 8 billion people on this earth. That's true. But the thing is, you can, sorry, okay, sorry, next slide. But so every 10 minutes, a new block is added to the blockchain. So all the transactions are getting into these blocks. And there's one criticism about the Bitcoin blockchain, and that is that it is so slow and it can't serve 8 billion people because it only can do 7 transactions per second. So how should this work? And that's true, that's a problem. But now we have the Lightning Network, where we can do millions of transactions per second with very, very small units. Like you can send 1 Satoshi or 2 Satoshis from one end to the world of the other, to the other. So you have the Bitcoin blockchain as the so-called base layer. And on top of that, like in an internet infrastructure, we have a so-called second layer protocol, and that's the Lightning Network. And there we have so-called payment channels where the money, the Satoshis, are sent peer-to-peer worldwide. And you can now really use the smallest unit of a Bitcoin, which is a Satoshi. It's named after the founder, Satoshi Nakamoto. And you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin because nobody can buy a whole Bitcoin, it's much too expensive. But you can earn or buy a fraction of it. Like 1 Bitcoin is a unit, it has 100 million Satoshis, yeah? So yesterday, $1 US was 2,400 Satoshis. This means now you can save also $1 or less than $1 on your phone and wait and earn more through gaming or through working. This is, now I have some examples what you can do with it. That's the site I told you before, Azteco vouchers, where you can buy a voucher for cash, send the code. You can also apply and become a seller of these vouchers if you have a shop or a store. Satsi.com is a site where you can earn Bitcoin. You can receive paybacks for shopping in Satoshi. You can do service and answer questions, and you can play games. Then, if you want a job in this space, there are a lot of jobs. You don't have to be a coder or a developer. You can be a marketing person, a law person, whatever. On this page, you find jobs in the Bitcoin space. And there are a lot of jobs that you can do remotely. You can live here and work for these companies who are working in the Bitcoin space. So look that up. Then there are some pages where you can do gigs to earn Bitcoin. Bitgigs.com, Coinality. I will put that on my website, then you can look it up, okay? You can earn Bitcoin playing games. There are 2 apps. One is called Thunder Games, and the other one is called CBD.io. And I read from a Nigerian Bitcoiner, Namibian, who I met in a Twitter space, and he told me he's playing on CBD, he's earning in Satoshis, and then he's going to bitrefill.com, and topping up his phone every month with the Satoshis he's earned in the game. So basically you can earn your money for your phone through gaming. Another thing you can do, if you are a podcaster or want to start out as a podcaster, you can now earn Bitcoin for your podcast streams, meaning your listeners can download an app that's called Breeze, load it up with a little bit of Satoshis, listen to the podcast in this app, and streaming Satoshis to the producer. So you as a podcaster can earn Satoshis from all the people everywhere around who can send you Satoshis. Or, I guess many people here are content creators, producing digital products or creating videos and things like that. We now have possibilities. If you have a WordPress site, like an instance, your own WordPress installation, you can set up a Bitcoin and Lightning full node, or you can also rent one, and you only need a wallet, and then you can sell digital products over your own website into your own wallet without the bank. So that's a fantastic thing you can do now. Or if you're a business owner, you have a cafe, or you sell something on a regular basis, the Breeze wallet also offers you a point of sale. So you have products, you can store products in there with prices, and if you have a customer coming, you just show them the screen and they can pay you instantly. You can collect donations. There are several tools, easy ones where you only need a widget to implement it on your website, or just a link to your own account. That's, for instance, tipin.me or Telecoin. Or with a BTC Pay server, you can set up your own donation website. That's Tipin.me now, which is easier than setting up your own BTC Pay server. And you can really go there now and use your Twitter account to install it or activate it. And you can receive donations from all over the world, or payments. So, where can I spend Bitcoin if you have them? You can exchange it person to person into US dollars and pay everything you need. You can trade it on OKCoin or other exchanges. You can buy airtimes, flights, hotels, or vouchers, like top up your phone. Also here in Zambia, over bitrefill.com, you can buy a car, you can, yeah. So, but what you really need to do is remember this thing here, not your keys, not your coins, meaning you have to be in charge of your private keys and your seed. I explain what it is in the next slides. So, the big exchanges like Binance, Bitstamp, Kraken, blockchain.com, the wallet you have there is like a bank account. It's not really your money, it's the bank's money, and they give you access, and they can also stop your access. Or the bank, if it goes down, your money is gone. So always look out for self-custody wallets, where you have your seed phrase. The seed phrase is sometimes also called backup. It's 12 or 24 English words most of the time in a certain order. Write it down on a sheet of paper, like you can see here, and store that sheet of paper very, very well, maybe in 2 locations, maybe laminate it so that the water can't make it, like you can't read it anymore. Because with these words, even if your phone goes dead, even if the app gets out of the Play Store and it doesn't work anymore, you can always get access to your money on the Bitcoin blockchain again. So now some recommendations for wallets, these which give you those keys. First, there's the Moon wallet. It's a wallet for Bitcoin and Lightning. So you can do this slower, bigger transactions with Bitcoin, but you can also use small amounts, like send sub-1 US dollar amounts worldwide and receive them. Another recommendations of mine is the Moon wallet, which also gives you the seed phrase and a Bitcoin wallet and a Lightning wallet. And then, as I said before, the Breeze wallet app is also an excellent self-custodial app, but it's only Lightning. And that's the one where you can also listen to podcasts. Quite. So I'm over time, sorry. So I have heard and I know that it's hard to get hardware wallets here in these countries. But if it's possible in the future, cold storage, like hardware wallets, are the most secure way to store your private keys to your money. And so I actually wanted to bring some, but it's still in customs, so I'm sorry. But the cool thing about those, they are never connected with the internet and with your computer. So you can't have a virus, nobody can hack it. So I hope in a few years you will be also possible here for you to get them. So, and there are some basic rules for securing your accounts. That's not only for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, but in general. Please use secure passwords. Your birthday is not a secure password. I think most people lose access to their funds because they lose their passwords or have passwords that are so easy to crack. And there are a lot of people, especially as soon as you have money on your computer or your mobile phone, people will want to hack it. So please use different passwords, not the same password for all your accounts. I know that seems difficult, but there are tools like Bitwarden or KeePass. These are free tools, free apps, where you can store all your passwords securely, and you only need to remember one password for it. And for me, that's a long sentence, and I will always remember it. So, and then the second thing, if it's offered by an exchange or any tool, use the so-called two-factor authentication, not the email or SMS text authentication. Use the Google Authenticator or another app that's called OTP. So what does it? If somebody gets access to your password and your login data for a certain site, if it's two-factor enabled, then you also need a code from these apps to be able to access, and only you have this code on your phone. So it's an extra security feature. And last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about scams. Please, I know there are a lot of scams out there. Be aware. If somebody makes promises about profits, if they tell you to act fast, now speed up, now pay, yeah? If you have to pay a startup package to join Bitcoin, if you have to pay monthly, if you need to get others to invest, then it's most probably a scam. Remember, you can't get rich quick. Also in Bitcoin, you need to wait. You need to save your money. Don't spend it on things you don't need. Yeah, I mean, I know there are a lot of things we need. Food, a place to live, and all those other things. But I stopped. I mean, I guess I'm an example of one of those Bitcoiners who stopped buying things they don't really need, yeah? So because we're waiting, like in 5 years, I can buy something else, or I can help other people with it, you know? So, and now I wanna recommend a free online course to you. Dominic and I are fans of Andreas Antonopoulos because he's a great educator and he has a free introduction to Bitcoin and open blockchains. If you're interested in it, please do it. And also the University of Nicosia offers a free introduction to digital currencies. That's really a good investment in your future, I think. I did it too, and I'm 51. So thank you very much. Thank you again to the Human Rights Foundation, Leden and OKCoin. You can find me on Twitter at Anita Posch with a C. My podcast is at bitcoinundco.com, and I have a YouTube channel, and you can follow the work of the Bitcoin for Fairness initiative on bffbtc.org. So thank you very much.